Hello everyone, this is Jenny with craftingwithjenny.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. So for today's video tutorial, I am going to walk you through a project that I made for my mother for Mother's Day. So what this card is, it's called a flower pot card, and it was probably all the rage about 5 years ago, but I really kind of wanted to revamp it with some new Stampin' Up! Product. So as you can see, the card base is the flower pot, and you have a little bit of insert which has the flowers on it. So let's go ahead and go through what you're going to be needing to make this card. So I use the Teeny Tiny Wishes stamp set for my greeting. You're also going to be needing the Botanical Builder framelit dies. If you guys have followed me for any amount of time, you know I love these. You're also going to be needing the curvy corner punch and the washi label punch. Now both of these are punches that are on the retirement list. So when I looked this morning, they were still available. So if you want to get these, you probably should get them as soon as possible. You're also going to be needing some of these cute metal rimmed pearls, and for ink you're going to be needing Cajun Craze, and you're also going to be needing a couple different cardstocks. So you're going to be needing the card base, which is in crumb cake. You're going to be needing some old olive. You're going to be needing some mint macaron, some Cajun Craze, some Very Vanilla, some Hello Honey, and some of the Botanical Garden Designer Series paper. Now both the Hello Honey and the Designer Series paper are retiring as well. So if you want to get your hands on this, you want to do so as soon as possible. Now for a list of dimensions and supplies that you're going to need to recreate this card, it's all going to be available on my website at craftingwithjenny.com. You're also going to be able to shop for the supplies right there on that page. So everything's conveniently located for you. Now let me go ahead and put all this stuff aside. I hope you really love this project. Now when you go to my blog to get the dimensions and everything, make sure that you subscribe. I have a lot of projects that I share with my customers that you don't get to see unless you're part of that group. So it's a good place to belong to. And also go ahead and click the bottom of the subscribe button below and make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Okay, let's get started. So what we're going to do is we are going to do the card base first. Now you're going to want to bring in your Stampin' trimmer or your Simply Scored board. You can use either. And you are going to score this at 1 1/4 and 4 3/4. Just really simple scoring on this one. Then what you're going to do is go ahead and bring that bone folder in and crease these score marks. Now the one thing that's really important is you want to fold this one in, you want to fold this one over this way. Alright, so there you go. Now you want to bring back in your trimmer if that's what you were using. Now this one has the rotary style trimmer that's in addition to the regular Stampin' Up! Trimmer. You don't have to have this, just a regular trimmer is fine. If you do like the rotary option, this one's actually retiring. So if you need some of the blades that go inside here, then you're going to want to get your hands on those, okay? Now, this is probably the only tricky part of putting this whole card together, so I wanted to be sure that I gave you guys a video so you could understand. Okay, so where the top of the card, or the top of the flower pot is, you want to flip that over. And what you want to do is you want to line up this score line in the cutter track, but you want the bottom of the pot to be on your half-inch mark. So I don't know if you could see that. Let me bring it into the camera lens for you. So you're going to want this down here at the half-inch mark. You're going to want that score mark up there. And you're going to want to go ahead and cut that. Now you're going to want to do that again on the other side, but you're just going to do it a little bit differently, so it's the same thing. You're going to line that score mark up in the cutter track, and you're going to line that corner up with the half-inch mark. And if it's a little off, don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. Okay, and with your trimmer, it's probably unlikely that you're going to get a nice smooth cut through both those layers. So just bring your paper snips in. Go ahead and clean up that those fibers that are kind of overhanging. Or if you have a sandpaper or a sand block like the manicure blocks, that kind of helps too. Just go ahead and get those paper fuzzies off, like I like to say. Okay, so now you're going to want to bring in that curvy corner punch, and we're going to be using this one right here. So you're just going to make sure you got that fully lined up. And there you go, just like that. That's your base of your card. Now, before we do anything more to the base of the card, I want to bring in our inside panel. So it's going to be a piece of the Hello Honey and a piece of the Very Vanilla. And for this, I like to use Tombow glue, just because it gives me some wiggle time. It's very beginner friendly. You don't have to put it down and pray that it's centered. It takes a while to get perfect at using the snail, because it attaches to your paper pretty quickly. Alright, and once you see that it's centered pretty good, just go ahead and give it a little bit of a press. Except I moved mine a little bit, so. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, the bottom of this insert is going to be the perfect width of the bottom of the card here. So what I like to do is I like to get some adhesive right here in those areas so that it's kind of a snug fit. Now you can use glue dots. I've seen people use glue dots to keep it closed. Because people are going to be pulling that insert in and out, I kind of want to use a stronger adhesive than that. So I'm using some of the tear and tape. Now if you don't have any tear and tape in your stash, you really should. I think it is very beginner friendly. It doesn't stick to you like the red tape did. Oh my goodness. And it's just a really, really good adhesive. So I'm going to pull this out. I am going to pull those tapes off. And you don't have to, it kind of pulls up, but as you can see, I don't have any nails, so it's kind of sometimes a little bit hard to get that paper off. Okay, now you just want to be sure you get that down just like that. So there we go. Now here you're going to want to add your, or you know what, you're going to want to stick down your the lip of your flower pot. Now I just put a little bit here in the middle because I don't want the full top to stick to the card. I kind of want it to still have some dimension left. So as you can see, it sticks down, but these sides still kind of pop up a little bit, and that's what you want. Okay, now you can bring in your piece of designer series paper, figure out which way you kind of want it to go. I think we're going to go with this one here. Now you can bring your Tombow glue back in to do that, or you can bring in your snail. I happen to have the snail handy, so that's what I'm going to use. And I'm probably going a little bit overkill on that, but that's okay. Now, you guys know I like to turn things every which way to make sure that I'm getting the paper exactly the way I want it. You know what? I'll move it up just a little bit. Alright, and then you're just going to take your snips and go ahead and cut off the excess. That way you're sure that it fits your card perfectly. So there you go. Alright, now let's work. Now that the glue is dried on this, I want to go ahead and put this in here. Now one thing you probably want to do is have an envelope handy so you know how big you can go with this card. So what I mean is how tall your card can be. Or you could use some grid paper or a grid mat. Either one will work. So let's set this aside. I'm going to bring in our Big Shot now so that we can go ahead and get all the flowers that we need. So I am going to start with the flowers first. So let me bring in those. So you're going to have this flower and this inside. Now I try to run through as many things on my Big Shot as I possibly can, just to save some time. So I'm going to bring in that piece of old olive, and I'm going to go ahead and cut those leaves out while I'm doing the flowers. Now, with these ones, oops, you're going to want to go ahead and crank it through, but you're going to want to crank it through a few times just to make sure that you get it perfectly cut through. Now you can use the adapter plate that they have, and that will work as well. For some reason I couldn't find mine before this video, so you know, we work with what we got. Okay, so we're going to pop out that leaf that we need, and then we're going to pop out the flowers. As you can see, one of them, okay, popped out. Now we're going to get our next piece of paper in here, and we're going to get the flower down. Now I'm going to bring in my paper piercer, and I'm just going to poke a few holes in here, or go through a few of the holes to get the paper to come out. Now once you get it started, it comes out a little bit easy. Okay, and then let's do this again. So just a couple times through the Big Shot. I'm probably doing it a little bit more than I need to, but you know what? You're already there, so you might as well make sure that you keep running it through. Okay. So there's the mint macaron. Go ahead and bring your paper piercer in again. Now the only time you really have to do this is when you have the real intricate dies. They seem to, when you cut them just right, they seem to want to stay in the die, which is okay by me because then I know that it is cut out the way I need it to be. So it just takes a little bit of time. Alright, and this one seemed to stay inside too, so let's go ahead and pull that out. Alright, now let's do our last leaf here and bring in our Cajun craze. And just like so. Now let's give it a shot. There's one. There's two. There's three and four. I only tend to run it through multiple times is when I'm using quite a few dies at the same time. Just because sometimes they can have different thicknesses and you want to be sure that you get everything cut out the way it should be. I noticed with when you use the big flower, sometimes this little inside piece doesn't cut out completely, and so you just want to, that's why you really want to be sure you run it through a few times. Alright, let's give that one a pull out. See? Perfect. Okay. We're all done with the Big Shot, so let's get this out of the way. Okay, so you're going to want to bring in those flowers again. And go ahead and bring in your mini glue dots. You're going to want to put these little insides of the flower. I'm going to bend these up just a little bit. You're going to just want to place them in the inside of the flower. So let's do all of these while we're at it and bend those up a little bit. Give them some dimension. That's really why I like these framelit dies. I like how much dimension you can get with just a few pieces of cardstock. And you guys know how much I love my Big Shot anyway. If I make a card that doesn't require the Big Shot, it's a rare day. Alright, so I'm going to pop these leaves up. Now, if this is the first video that you've seen of mine, there is also another video that I've done that is a pocket card using the same die set, which I think you'll really enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead and link that below so you can take a look at that one as well. Alright, so now we're going to pop these over. We're going to bring in our dimensionals. You really do want to use dimensionals for this, just because it's going to be sliding in and out of that card. So, alright. So what I want to do here is show you how I got everything lined up, because I think sometimes that's the hardest part. Okay. So what I did, so let me pull this out so you can see. I put each one of these on the corner. So that's what I'm going to do. So just like so. And you want to add these flowers while the insert is inside the card. That way you know exactly where you need to place everything. Okay, you're going to do the same thing over here. Oops. Looks like I got the drop seeds again today. Okay, so you see that? Now you're going to want to pull it out just a little bit, because it doesn't have to go straight down into there. You still have some wiggle room with your envelope. So, all right. And then now you want to get this, the yellow one in, so it's actually sticking onto, oops, onto here. So there you go, just like so. Okay, now let's go ahead and put that back in there so we can, so see, just like so. Now you're going to bring in your 3 leaves, and you're going to put one back here. You're going to put one here, front. And then you're going to put another one here. And I kind of like to do this first so I know where I want to go with the leaves. So see, just like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little tiny, maybe half a dimensional from the edge. And I'm going to put that as close to the bottom as I can, because I'm going to be feeding this inside of the card and it's not going to be seen. So I got that one, so here goes the other one. I'll do the same thing. Maybe this time I'll bring in my scissors so it's a little bit easier. Okay, you can even use these little ones here. Okay. All right, I'm going to do the same thing here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I wanted to show you exactly how I arranged everything, so that way it's really easy for you. The only time-consuming part is, as you saw, is getting all the die cuts. And even that, if you make sure that you cut everything out at the same time, it's not too bad. Okay. So there you go. You see, you got everything up there. You can pop it in and out. And it looks good. Okay, so now let's bring in a piece of Very Vanilla, because that's what's in this paper, is Very Vanilla. Okay, you're going to open up your Cajun Craze. We're going to use the Happy Mother's Day sentiment, but this card is really perfect for just about anything. That's why I recommend using the teeny tiny, oh, it seems like this is going to be a trouble. That's why I wanted to show you the teeny tiny wishes. That way you could pick whatever sentiment you like. Okay, so sometimes we just have to improvise. So for these teeny tiny wishes, you just want to be sure that when you stamp it, straight down, straight up, You don't want to rock the stamp at all because it's going to distort your greeting. So you just straight down, straight up. Good. And I stamp things a few times just to see if I can get one that I like better than the others. And that one I like the best, so that's the one I'm going to go with. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close my ink. And I'm going to bring in my washi label punch. I really enjoy this punch. I'm really sad to see it go. But then you're going to want to line up your greeting and punch. And this is really the best beginner tip I can give you. Whenever I design any of my cards, you'll normally notice that I hardly ever stamp the sentiment straight to the card base. I normally will use a punch or a die cut. That way you could stamp it first and then kind of punch it out or use your big shot to cut it out. That way your sentiment is perfect every time. Alright, I'm going to bring in my snail, and what I'm going to do is kind of lift this up and see if I can center it just right. Because I want you to see the greeting, but I don't want it to really be the focal point. So now the final thing that you're going to want to do is bring in your pearls. Now for this first card I used the medium size, but I think for this one I want to use the smaller size and see which one we like better. If I can get them out of the thing here. Alright, there we go. Let's put the lid on those so I don't drop them all over the floor. One thing you'll learn about me pretty quickly is I'm pretty clumsy. So if something's gonna go wrong, it pretty much is gonna happen on camera. Alright, so you're just gonna pull the backing off of those, and I use my paper snips to do it because they're pretty sharp. And then I just go ahead and put these down right in the middle. And look at that. How pretty is that? Let's see the other one side by side so that you guys can pick which kind. And you don't even have to use the metal rimmed pearls. You can use rhinestones or regular pearls, whatever you think. Now, as I said, a full list of supplies and the dimensions for all the cardstock will be on my blog at craftingwithjenny.com. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also be sure to sign up for my mailing list at craftingwithjenny.com. If you have any questions on any of the products that I used today, please feel free to contact me. You can do so through my blog. And if you're looking for a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, or you'd love to join my team, I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. I hope you enjoyed this project today. Take care. Bye-bye.